The International Olympic Committee is denying reports that the already postponed Tokyo Games set for this summer will be canceled. The Times of London, citing an unidentified government source, claims that the Games are off due to the surge in coronavirus cases in Japan. In a statement to CBS News, the IOC calls the report categorically untrue, as does the Japanese government. But as Ramy Inocencio explains, doubts remain that organizers can actually pull it off.
Fanfare for the Tokyo 2020 Summer Olympics has fizzled out across Japan, with Tokyo and about half of the country, about 60 million people, now under a month-long state of emergency through February 7th. COVID has come back in a third wave, the country now grappling with more daily cases than 10 months ago, when the Games were first postponed.
What's your personal opinion about the Olympics being canceled?
It has to be canceled. We are talking about a pandemic after all, and so it's not just Japan's issue. The whole of humanity are still fighting against the coronavirus, and we need to get the priority right.
Professor Koichi Nakano at Sophia University says it may be an intended leak from the government.
Nobody really wants to sort of say it. You don't want to be the carrier of the bad message, even if you know that the message is inevitable. So I suppose in some ways the government is maybe even sort of, in some ways in a pre-planned fashion, letting out this information and then eventually creating an atmosphere where it seems inevitable that the Olympics have to be canceled.
It's not just pressure from the pandemic, it's also pressure from the people. This month, a national poll revealed more than 80% of respondents wanted the Tokyo Olympics rescheduled or canceled altogether. Just 16% said the Games should go ahead as planned. While Tokyo's future is in doubt, China's capital, Beijing, is determined that its first shot at hosting the Winter Olympics in 2022 will not be derailed.
And there's been a boom of passion in winter sports like skiing. Get this, more than 25 years ago, there were only about 10 ski resorts across this whole entire country. Now there are more than 700 and with room to grow.
Just this week, China's President Xi Jinping vowed his country would have a successful Winter Olympics. But China is going through its own resurgence of COVID-19, with new flare-ups in the suburbs of Beijing, neighboring provinces, and Shanghai, forcing more than 20 million people into lockdown. And so far, officials in both Japan and China insist the Games will continue as planned. Ramy Inocencio, CBS News, Beijing.